passionate instigator and dynamic problem solver. Dr. Kevin Ross Emery, the host of the Dr. Kevin Radio Show, will be taking you outside the box, behind the curtain, and identifying the load of BS we are fed every day. And now, Dr. Kevin.
Hello, and welcome to the Dr. Kevin Show, where we challenge everything and everyone here on OMTimes, where we're changing the world one ohm at a time. I want to welcome everybody here on the last Thursday in March. If you are not listening to this on the last Thursday in March at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then you may be listening to one of the many replays. Whether you're listening to this as first out or whether you're listening to this as a replay, you can go right now. I want to hear the sound of you typing, guys. www.facebook.com/my-Dr. Kevin, MYDRKEVIN. If you go to my Facebook fan page, first of all, you have to like it. I don't care if you don't like me. Fake it. Like it, and on the top post, you're going to see that the top post is our today's guest, information, how to contact her, how to see her lovely pretty face smiling at you, her websites, and it's a place where you can participate. The thing about the world is it's easy to sit in the cheap seats and complain about it, but are you standing up, taking action, and doing anything? This is an invitation for you to take action. If there's something we're talking about tonight and you want to talk to me or you want to talk to tonight's guest, then you can just easily go to that My Dr. Kevin Facebook fan page, MYDRKEVIN. You can type your question. We will read it on air. You can tweet it to me at Web of Light. So tweet it at Web of Light or tweet it at My Dr. Kevin, MYDRKEVIN, and we'll take your question and we'll put it on air. If this is a repeat, then I will be asking my guest shortly if she will be willing to keep an eye on it, or if I chase her down and say, hey, somebody had a question that came on one of our review shows, and have her answer it or give me the answer. Of course, if she says no, then I will have to grab her by the ankles, turn her upside down, and shake her till the answer falls out of her ears. Because that's how we roll here on the Dr. Kevin Show. So, first of all, as you always know, we always have the hot topic. Hot topic, for those of you who may be new and joining us, is it something that may make me feel warm and fuzzy or may make me hot under the collar? Whatever this hot topic is, you and my guest are listening to it for the first time, and she gets to respond to it, so I get to put her on the spot. So, my hot topic today is recently, it came across today, and I'm not, you know what I'm going to tell you. I don't even know who the woman was, but some woman talked about, she was thinking about suicide, some rocker or, some new indie music person. I have to tell you, I didn't even know who she was. Chris Brown basically came and tweeted, stop being a drama fan or whatever, and basically poking at the fun of her saying that she felt like she was suicidal. And this is somebody, I take it, in the music industry. If I can pull it up on break, I'll let you know. But it made me think I wanted to talk about suicide. Now, as many of you know, I've done shows on death and dying. I've done them on suicide. I'm a very big proponent of people getting to have a right to life and right to die, depending on what's going on. But the numbers that always bother me the most are the teenage suicides. Because teenage suicides are not really about the teenager. They're about the failure of society. They're about the failure of society. They're about the failure of parents, of teachers, and all of the adults who continually allow the misrepresentation of information to be shoved down our teenagers' throats. That either allow, role model, support, or ignore bullying, no matter what the reason is. There was a couple of different things that I brought in, and that the percentage of adults having serious thoughts about suicide was highest among adults 18 to 25. 2.7 million people made plans about how they'd attempt suicide. The percentage of adults who made a suicide plan in the past year was higher among adults 18 to 25. Specifically, 2.7 students made suicide attempts that resulted in an injury, poisoning, or overdose. 8.8% of students attempted suicide one or more times in the previous 12 months. 10.6% of females and 5.4% males. 13.6% students made a plan about how they would attempt suicide in the past 12 months. 17% of students seriously considered attempting suicide in the previous 12 months. 22.4% of the females and 11.6% of the males. Those are deeply disturbing numbers. What do we do? How do we push back? Why do we continue to allow false images to be broadcast over air, mixed messages sent? We won't talk about, in many schools, we won't talk about things like sex and healthy attitudes toward it. In fact, we make it forbidden and horrible, and yet our children, our young teenagers going into puberty are constantly exposed with mixed messages and are sexualized. We friggin' start sexualizing them at 3 or 4 when we put them on a runway and dress them up to look like a baby doll with lipstick and curls, and then we wonder why they're confused. On that note, I'm going to introduce today's guest. Since we started with such a light and playful topic, today's guest is Ashley Olafsen, and I mispronounced it, and I knew I was going to do that. Olafsen.
Yes.
Olafsen.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm really, really excited to be talking.
She is passionate about self-esteem, body image, media, mental health, and more. No, my hot topic really wasn't a setup for her. It really was what my topic was. She's created numerous self-confidence empowerment workshops to girls all over New England. I forgot, you're in New England. Where are you in New England?
Yes, I currently go to school at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst. So I'm in Amherst, Massachusetts.
Well, this show, I'm in Greenland, New Hampshire right now doing this show.
Perfect.
Not that far away. We both enjoyed a great day today.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So, Ashley, what do you think? What can we do? Do we need to do anything? Do these numbers bother you as much as they bother me?
Yes. Well, I mean, of course they do. These numbers are disturbing because they're more than just numbers. It's a reality. It's a truth. These are lives. These are more than just numbers. And so, of course, we need to do something. And we need to do something by starting to have a conversation about suicide and about the reasons why someone would feel that they should be committing. We need to start talking about mental health stigmas and, more importantly, the importance of reaching out for help. Right now, it is so stigmatized and it is so hard to reach out and get help for anything that you're dealing with, whether it's a friend problem or whether it's something serious like depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, any of that. And so we need to have conversations, and we need to start this public conversation so that way kids and teenagers and even adults know that it is okay to get help and that there is no shame in reaching out and talking to a guidance counselor or a trusted adult.
You know, there is that there's, you know, we say that there is no shame in reaching out and talking to a trusted adult. But, you know, I've worked with kids. I mean, I've been working with kids for almost 20 years. I do a lot of work with ADD, ADHD. I have a lot of books out on it. And I've worked with kids for other reasons than that in my private practice. Trusted adults are harder to come by than you think, especially since the laws are making it more that the adult could be punished for trying to solve the problem instead of exposing the person, which then is a betrayal of trust. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I'm really lucky because I came from a privileged town where I was able to have so many good resources. So in my experience, like giving at workshops, I always talked about girls about resources. And so I've been pretty privileged with the schools that I've worked with where resources are not so difficult to come by. But I do think that is really important. And I think that partially goes back to school systems and how we need to be investing more money in school systems so that way all school systems, regardless of where they are, that they do have good and effective guidance counselors and administrators and, even extracurricular leaders who are trustworthy and students are able to come to with their problems.
Now, you use one of my favorite words in your write-up in the work you do. I've been teaching, preaching, screeching, dancing under the moonlight about empowerment for 26 years now. Mm-hmm. And, and I always define empowerment as the power to be uniquely who you are without apology. Mm-hmm. Do we need more empowerment programs where teachers can where students can actually be part of the solution?
Yes, like 100% yes. I really believe that students are so much more capable than they're given credit for. And I think that when you allow people to be part of the solution, it's exciting because they feel as though they have a voice. Like when I go into schools and when I give workshops, the entire workshop is about here's what you can do to be part of the solution. Here's how you can be body positive. Here's how you can get help. Here's how you can empower others. And here's, what you can do to make a difference. And they are so empowered by it. And it's the reason why they're so empowered is because they're getting to be part of the solution and they feel as though they have an active role in making a difference.
What do you think? And we're probably about 45 seconds away from break. Mm-hmm. So you may be able to have to answer this question when we get back. But is there something we should be doing more actively to put media in its place? And there's the sound. You get to think about that for a second. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
We are here with Ashley Olafsen.
Olafsen.
I know more about her.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hey ladies, do you want to have that good hair day feeling all the time? Gentlemen, would you want your special someone to have that glow, letting you know she's feeling completely satisfied? This feeling and that glow can be yours by embracing your sexual power. So join me, Rachel Kenley, award-winning romance author, on the O-Spot. The O-Spot will guide you to that peak with guest interviews, book discussions, and conversations on the thrills of sexual empowerment. Put the zing back in your life. Come up and see me sometime on the O-Spot, live on Hump Day at 10 p.m. Eastern.
OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle. Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Come heal yourself. What is healing? Healing is nothing but connecting with your all-knowing higher self that already has solutions to all your problems and is always there to guide you. Through this show, we help you to connect with that you are and tap into that innate potential you have to transform your life and fly high. Please join me, your host Monica Goyal, every Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific. Namaste.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
hello, and welcome back to the Dr. Kevin Show here on, excuse me, here on OMTimes Radio, where we're changing the world one ohm at a time. Tonight's guest, Ashley Olafsen.
Yes, you got it. Thank you. Love it.
So she is a passionate, you can tell, she's passionate about self-esteem, body image, media, mental health, and more. She has created numerous self-confidence empowerment workshops to girls all over New England. Furthermore, she co-directs a summer program for her company, Move. That's with a V, not two O's. She has spoken to TEDx Burlington, MASSCue, and CoSN. Additionally, she has spent 3 years writing a book, and it will be published within 2 months. You're part of this program I'm doing about young movers and shakers, and I'm doing a few of you. Ashley, how old are you?
I actually just turned 19 on Friday.
19. When I hear people talk about their lack of hope, and these kids, and they don't know anything, and they don't do anything, and they've just been spoiled and stuff like that. And I've had some people that all belong to a group you belong to that are out there just ripping the world a new reality. And I love pushing every last one of you down their throats.
Thank you so much.
So we left it at, should we make media more responsible? Because it is a large contributing factor to a lot of this damage. What do you think?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, media plays such a large role. We consume, I believe, 7.5 hours of media every single day. And so a really great way to make the media more responsible for their actions and for what they're doing is to call out the media when they're wrong. There's this fantastic campaign called the Representation Project, and they created this hashtag campaign called #NotBuyingIt. And whenever you disagree with something that you see or something in the media is wrong or perpetuating an unhealthy standard, you can call it out with the hashtag #NotBuyingIt. And it's pretty powerful stuff. They actually got GoDaddy, I believe, to change some of their sexist advertising. So it's really making a difference.
Okay. So I am typing that in. Again, remember, guys, you don't make a difference being Velcroed to the couch with a remote control drooling on it. You make a difference by looking at people like Ashley and say, I want to be more like her. So come to facebook.com/mydrkevin, MYDRKEVIN. You'll see all the ways to contact her. And I'm typing that hashtag in right now. And that hashtag is #NotBuyingIt.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And you're supposed to use it when?
Whenever you see the media or even just larger culture perpetuating something sexist, something that is unhealthy or just shouldn't be in regards to gender and race and the way that we treat children and teenagers.
You know what? I'm probably just going to have to create a shortcut because my poor fingers will be worn to the bone. I'll be using it so much. So this is the first segment where you get to take the lead. This is called Outside the Box with Dr. Kevin. This is where you get to stretch my listeners' comfort zones. And I have no doubt that you're going to get them well stretched. Go.
All right. So I'm going to be talking about why we need sex education. And this is a really controversial issue. And I want to begin by saying that when I say that I believe that we need sex education, I am by no means saying that abstinence is not an important thing to be teaching. I'm merely saying that educating children and teenagers about sex, and more than just sex, but educating kids and teenagers about what a healthy relationship looks like, what love is, what an unhealthy relationship is, what abuse is, and what all of that is so incredibly important. I have so many friends who have been in compromising positions. And the reality is that by age 17, half of America's teenagers have had sex. The average American boy views pornography at age 13. And so we live in this sex-saturated culture where sex is in our face. sexualization is just part of our everyday life. It's what girls and boys are seeing and are used to be seeing. We see females and males objectified constantly, and yet we never really talk about it. So something that I really believe is that we need to give kids information about what they're seeing on a daily basis to help them sort of decipher the messages of the media in order to make their own good decisions. And again, when I say that we need sex education, I'm not by any means saying that we don't need to talk about abstinence. I think that abstinence is a very legitimate option. And I think it's incredibly important that we do discuss it because it is such a great route for kids and teenagers to be taking. But that being stated, kids and teenagers still need information to make healthy and appropriate, responsible decisions. Because right now, the current method that we have is not working. And STIs are so incredibly common. Teen pregnancy is so incredibly common. And so is sexual harassment and abuse. And if we were able to begin to sort of start talking about that, I really believe that we could decrease the number of abusers, the number of unintended teen pregnancies, and so on and so forth.
Well, and I read once, and it may or may not be true, but I've read it in more than one study, that teen pregnancy and sexually transmitted diseases happen more in parts of the country and in with teenagers and in school systems where they're more conservative, less willing to talk about it, and are more fire and brimstone religious. That's how I'm going to put it.
Yeah, and I've read that too. And I say this all as a Catholic. You know, I am a very strong Catholic believer. I really believe in God. I have a very strong and faithful relationship with God. He is the reason why I'm doing all of this work, because I am motivated by him. And yet it's still, my religion I'm still able to acknowledge that our current system just isn't working. And again, like I said, I'm not saying that abstinence is not an option. I'm just saying that teenagers need education from our schools and from our parents, because right now our main source of sex education is pornography, and it's what we're seeing in the media and on television and in music videos. And that's giving us such a disoriented idea of what it means to be in a relationship or what love looks like.
How many people out there do you think know what love looks like?
I mean, very few. When I talk to girls at workshops, it's like I can't even begin to tell you the number of girls that I know that have been in unhealthy and abusive relationships. It's so like devastating to me, because I feel like unless you have a very, you're really able to see it with your parents, or unless you have some kind of, good role models where you're able to see it, it's not. Even if you do have a good role model, I'm sorry, I know that this is a little bit confusing. Even if you were to have an example of love, you're still seeing and being contrasted with so many images of unhealthy relationships.
And I couldn't agree more. I think that there is a lot out there. And I'm not poking at your religion or any religion.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the majority of mainstream religions in this country do more to contribute to the problem than to help solve it.
Yeah, and I would agree.
And one of the things is about teaching absence. I think we should be teaching more about self-respect, body respect, empowering. There it goes again, our favorite word.
Yeah.
Me and Ash. Empowering young girls and young boys to feel like they can make the better choices. It's okay. And that in that, it isn't saying, I'm going to teach you about abstinence. I'm going to teach you about respecting your body and yourself. And I'm going to help you develop the critical thinking skills that will lead you to making better choices.
I completely agree with you. Yeah, I couldn't have put it better.
When you start with quote unquote a negative, well, You just don't do it, and then you don't have to worry about it. Well, I mean, excuse me, have you never met a teenager before? Isn't saying don't, saying do? I mean, there's some of that. And the other thing I want people to remember, 125 years ago, 13, 14, 15-year-old boys and girls were having babies, getting married, working on farms, and that was the norm. This is the new norm. This is the new norm in humanity, which is the last 50 to 75 years of what I call sometimes almost a false stage of life, which is teenagehood. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Does teenagerhood, has it just been manifested by the 50s?
Can you elaborate on that? I want to make sure that I'm really going to answer the question.
Okay. So before World War II, the decisions were kind of made that some guys and some girls really weren't cut out for high school. They weren't cut out for education. They were cut out to go learn a skill or be a tradesperson. And it wasn't a bad thing. In fact, it was just a thing. It was like everybody has something to do. Getting married at 13 or 14 and starting to work and have babies. It's like, hey, if you're not going to go on and become a doctor or a lawyer, whatever, and you're going out and you're working and you're living the life of an adult, then you get to be an adult. But those are their adult responsibility and choices. After World War II and the deep, deep wound that World War II left on the psyche of this country, which led to the fanciful 50s of more illusion than reality going on in this country and how they saw things, and the advent of media, suddenly we have teenagers. They can't drink, or they can't vote. They can't do this. They can't do that. They can do this. They're that. So how much of that was created, and how much of it really existed? That's our music. We'll be right back. You get time to think about this. Lucky you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio.
Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic access consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Millis's, on The Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
Simone Millis's would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com. Being a radio host on IOM-FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
What if living didn't have to be so serious?
What if you could move beyond your problems with greater confidence and ease than you've ever imagined?
Throw your labels out the window and join the Irreverent Therapist for practical tips and a very different way of approaching the changes you would like to create.
Marilyn Bradford
and Pam Hodling
have empowered hundreds of people to come out of self-judgment, quit looking to experts, and begin to create the lives they desire.
Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Irreverent Therapist Show.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM-FM.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Dr. Kevin Show, where we challenge everything and everyone. Tonight, we're challenging Ashley Olafsen. You can find out more about her at ashleyolafsen.com. You can come to facebook.com/MyDrKevin. You will see the picture of the brightly smiling, lovely 19-year-old Ashley. And you will see all the links to be on her newsletter, to follow her on Twitter, you name it. And she's got it there for you. So I asked you a question before we went on break. And I now wait for your reply. Is teenager a legitimate part of our growth cycle?
Yeah, I really think it is. Obviously, we create different, the amount of time that we're going to assign to each stage of our lives. And, we assign names to different growth. However, I really do believe that being a teenager is a very legitimate part of growing up. And it's such an important process in life.
But what happened to the people before there was teenage years? I mean, the wealthy and the nobility always had teenage years, but of some kind, because there was education and there was stuff involved. But are some kids at 13, 14, or 15, are they really ready to go out and be in the world? Does forcing them to be in public education really serve them?
Well, those are some big questions. I think each individual is obviously different and will experience life differently as such. Is public education serving them? Public education really isn't serving everyone right now. Specifically, it's completely failing those in lower incomes, and it's specifically failing minorities and people of color. So is public education serving everyone? Certainly not. It's failing many.
Yes, it is failing. In fact, of course, I used to call it the Every Child Left Behind Act. And now I call it, what is it? It's Common Core?
The Common Core, yeah.
Yeah, it's more like political whore. So anyways, pardon my language. You're a good little Catholic girl. I shouldn't say things like that. But I will anyways. So now, Ashley, here we have the part of the show that I call Behind the Curtain. Behind the Curtain always starts with, unless you've been on my show before, starts with a pop quiz. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What movie did this line come from? Ignore the man behind the curtain.
Oh, is that from Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yay! Because the man behind the curtain was a shyster whose balloon blew off track from Kansas that became the great and powerful Oz by a bunch of levers and a bunch of spin. And at the end of the day, he was really no more than a shyster from Kansas. Where are we being shown something that is not the truth? That's got a lot of spin, a lot of sparkle, a lot of levers, because they don't want us to know the truth. You're up.
That's a really good question. I think somewhere where we're being shown a lot of like spin and sparkle would be probably just the way we treat children and teenagers in the media. I really think that we underestimate constantly kids and teenagers and their abilities to think critically and to be real and to succeed as leaders. I think that the media oftentimes will portray teenagers as whiny and moody and, like goth or just incapable of producing really incredible work.
And there are some of those that exist. What do you think the biggest difference is between the ones who are like you? And last week I had Connor Blakely, who belongs to the same organization. And last month I had Justin LaFons on. All teenager, young adult movers and shakers. What's the difference between you and the goths? How did you get... Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's such a great question. And I really think it comes down to opportunity. Yes, I have worked hard for what I have. I have spent hours and hours dedicated to learning and bettering myself. But at the end of the day, I have been privileged to have so many incredible opportunities. My parents worked tirelessly for me so that way I could live in a nice town and have a great public school education. My educators all believed in me. I went to an absolutely fantastic public school where my teachers and guidance counselors and everyone supported me and believed in the work that I'm doing. So I really believe that the only thing that makes my work different than anyone else, any other 19-year-old out there, is the fact that I have had unbelievable opportunities and I have had unbelievable resources who have believed in me, and I've been very fortunate to have been in this position. And I really believe that every individual, and especially every teenager, girl, boy, genderqueer, anyone, is of doing exactly the kind of work that I'm doing if they have been given the same opportunity.
Okay. But you also chose to take them.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think it's a give and take.
I mean, I think that it's a give and take. I think that there is also something that goes on where your parents must have empowered you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, my parents were incredibly, they have been, and they are just incredible resources and mentors to me. You know, my mother, she stayed at home and she would read books to me and my siblings and encourage my students' creativity. My father helps me out with banking and business-related things. My mother helps me out with banking. She's doing a grammar check on my new book. My parents have played a huge role in helping me to believe that I can really accomplish anything.
What advice, because, you know, as I told you, I, work with ADD and ADHD, and I have for years, among a ton of other things I do, because I'm an ADD poster child. Mm-hmm. But I always remember being at speaking and having the mother that came up with her 11 or 12-year-old son in tow and pushed him at me and said, I can't wait till you explain to me how this can be a gift.
Wow. And,
the sad part is, and of course my response, because I'm so centered and wise and, such a, being who I am, I said, the problem, dear, is not your child's ADD, it's his mother. But that's beside the point. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of parents out there who are frustrated, undereducated, underskilled. I could tell that this woman, I would not have been surprised. I don't know this to be true. I would be surprised had she graduated high school. She certainly didn't go to college. She was a single parent. She was struggling to get by. The money she made probably didn't afford for anything. What can you say to those parents, to those people? What can you go out to? How do you help your child if you're not surviving yourself?
Honestly, I don't know. And I honestly don't think that I've had the life experience that is such a big question. And I just don't feel that I've had the life experience to answer that question in an adequate way. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Well, good. And thank you for being honest. And thank you for not trying to come out with something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you're teaching empowerment to kids, and they need it. Mm-hmm. And you specialize mostly in young girls or just young anything?
Yeah, I typically work with girls 7th grade through 12th grade.
Okay. So, but is there a message at some point that maybe you need to deliver to young moms? Yeah. Is empowerment? Do we need to be empowering the parents as well?
Yes, and I completely believe that we do. The only thing is that my workshops are so derived from my personal experiences and my friends' personal experiences, And I would love to do parent workshops. I really would. But I'm not at a point where I am a parent, so I feel as though I'm not able to speak on those issues just yet. However, that is definitely something that I am interested in doing in the future, because I think that, parents have such an incredible influence over children and children's behavior. So it's definitely something that I would like to work on in the future.
Okay, good enough. How responsible, when you teach it, give me an example of something that you tell these girls in an empowerment workshop.
A big message that I always tell girls is in regards to body image, to treat your body as a work in progress. Stop judging it and constantly evaluating it, and instead just accept it as it is right now and accept your body as a work in progress rather than something that needs to be in your perfect ideal of perfect.
Okay. Do you, I'm curious now, do you ever challenge their realities of perfect and where they came from?
Oh, yeah. We ask the girls. We have that conversation. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you're in college now. What are you studying?
I'm actually designing my own major. I'm calling it Empowerment Through Education, and I hope to continue giving workshops, summer programs, writing books, doing all this, and then eventually I'd like to go into education reform.
Okay, good. So I look at this, and we're going to be coming up to break, and then you get your last shot at my audience, share some of your wisdom. And so I look at this and doing this empowerment work. You're in college now. How are you finding the girls who are your age? What would you say the percentage are that really need what you've got, that are not the younger ones, but are the 19 to 23, 18 to 24, out for the first time, maybe out from under some constraints, away from home, and dealing with all of this crap? And you get to think about it. I timed these perfectly for you every time, didn't I?
Thank you. Yes.
Think about this, and we'll come back and answer that question. We'll see the Dr. Kevin Show here on top.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Come heal yourself. What is healing? Healing is nothing but connecting with your all-knowing higher self that already has solutions to all your problems and is always there to guide you. Through this show, we help you to connect with that you are and tap into that innate potential you have to transform your life and fly high. Please join me, your host Monica Goyal, every Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific. Namaste.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
The truth is, you can't change the world if you're broke. I know, I've tried. Isn't it time you turned your life's calling into a profitable, freedom-based business? I'm Michelle Barr. Join me every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for Sacred Success.
The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to the last segment of the Dr. Kevin Show, where we challenge everything and everyone here on OMTimes Radio, where we're changing the world. Are we ready? One ohm at a time. Tonight's guest is Ashley Olafsen. Olafsen,
yeah, you got it.
Hey, I know, and it always takes me twice. It's
No
just
worries.
so good, I want to say it twice. Ashley is a remarkable 19-year-old woman who's out there changing the world, teaching workshops about self-confidence, empowerment. She's writing books. She's putting out newsletters. She is making a difference in the world. So next time you're going to whine about what little old me can do, you check this young lady out and be ashamed that you even asked the question. And if you want to come to facebook.com/mydrkevin, MYDRKEVIN, you can not only see the lovely young Ashley, you can see all the places you can follow her, connect with her, her Twitter, her Instagram, her website, and you can ask questions. And if you want to ask questions via Twitter at Web of Light or at MyDrKevin or here on the Facebook fan page, we will read them. I got a question for you, Ash, before you answer.
Yes.
Do you mind that I call you Ash? I keep on wanting to call you Ash. I don't know why.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. Because if you yell at me enough, I'll make sure I say Ashley. If one of my listeners in one of the future in one of the replays asks a question, will you go on and answer it?
Absolutely. I'd be more than happy to. I actually do Q&A videos on YouTube, and I would even answer it in that.
Okay. So we have an outstanding question, and then we're going to move on to our last segment. So what did you think? Remind the listeners of our question.
Yes. So it was about girls my age needing the work that I'm doing. And I would say that the girls my age that need the work that I'm doing, that are dealing with the issues that I talk about, they can reach me through my weekly newsletter, and they can reach me through the YouTube videos that I create. I try and be as accessible as possible, and those are two huge avenues that girls can see my work and see what I'm up to and hear the messages that I'm trying to spread.
So, Ashley, I'm going to ask you a question because there's something – now, this last segment is called What a Load of Crap with Dr. Kevin, and you get to expose any load of crap that you want to the world after you answer this question.
Yeah.
Are you dating anyone?
No, I am not.
Okay. Have you dated?
Yes.
And I'm not going to make any assumptions now, and I'm putting you on the spot. Male, yes?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Because I don't care, but, and I don't assume.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find you intimidate males?
Oh, you brought up a big question. Yeah, I get that I do intimidate boys a lot more than I would like. But Shamanda Ngozi Adichie says this beautiful thing where she says, if I intimidate a male, that is exactly the kind of male that I don't want to be with. And I really agree with that. If a guy is unable of handling all the work that I do, then he's not the right person for me.
And I absolutely agree. And, for 26 years, I've been a spiritual catalyst coach and counselor and dealt with people of all ages. And I was raised with two very, very strong grandmothers that were both fabulous role models of what powerful feminine was.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me very sad how often I see young girls in their teenage and their 20s turn their light down because it scares so many of the males away. And I try to tell them over and over again, turn that light up, honey. Get all the ones out of the way that ain't worth it, so the one that is going to find you.
Yeah, and I'm actually so glad that you brought that up because that's something that I have been struggling a lot with recently. And I finally am at a point where I am proud of my ambition. I am proud of the person that I am, but growing up, it was so, I always tried to make myself less than I really was because I was so worried that guys wouldn't like me and that I would be more ambitious than them.
Yeah. And, it's all about balance.
Mm-hmm.
You may be the more ambitious one in a relationship and have a relationship that works really well. I've worked with lots of people where and lots of couples that were having very happy marriages, and she might have been the breadwinner. She might have been more ambition. He might have been the house husband. He may have been the parent that was raising the children. I mean, it all works, and we just have to really get rid of all of those archaic, outdated norms of what your gender means you can and can't be.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
So you have about 5 minutes to share what you think is a load of crap going on in the world today.
Well, I mean, that was a perfect segue. Let's talk about gendered expectations. It really is a load of crap because, first of all, it asserts that there's only male and females. And in reality, people identify differently and as such. So that's the first load of crap. But then, I mean, the idea that boys can't cry and that boys are not allowed to show any emotion except for anger, that is so damaging and limiting to males. And then females just have such a ridiculous set of expectations of things that they can or can't do, how they have to be, a little bit, looking sexual, but if they're too sexual, they'll be shunned and rejected and called a slut. I mean, gendered expectations are so limiting to every single individual, regardless of where they fall on the gender spectrum. It's just so ridiculously limiting.
So, and I agree. I could not agree more. And I've actually spoken on and taught something on beyond gender. Mm-hmm. And that gender needs to be made irrelevant in of itself as we have looked at it. So now that's enough right there to make a lot of men shake in their boots. Mm-hmm. You do understand that.
Yeah. And not, again, I just want to say not all men. There are a lot of men who I think are very open-minded to these ideas. And a lot of men, I have so many male friends that recognize how damaging these gendered roles are. And it sounds like you do as well. Yeah, well, I've been around for a long time, and I have been an out and proud gay male my whole life. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, it's like, you know what? If it bothers you, then you probably shouldn't be in my space. Get out. But I've been like that almost since I was a teenager. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But let me tell you, it wasn't kind back when I was a teenager. Yeah. No. So that's, so where's your next workshop? And how does somebody schedule you for a workshop? How does somebody bring you in? How can we connect you up better? That is such a good question. So I don't have a date for my next workshop yet. I'm working with 2 schools in Massachusetts right now. I've been to one of the schools before, and the other one will be a new school. However, if someone is interested in scheduling a workshop, all they have to do is go on to ashleyolafsen.com or moveofficial.com and email using the contact box. It's super easy. I'll get back to you really quickly, and we will 100% set up a workshop. Okay. And the ages you like to work with again are? Typically girls 7th grade through 12th grade. 7th through 12th grade. Okay. How can people that are believing in what you do best support you? That's a really good question. I mean, honestly, just sharing the work that I do. If someone could help share my YouTube videos and help my YouTube channel grow, if someone could help to share my social media or the weekly newsletters that I send out, that would be so incredibly helpful in growing my business. And honestly, even contributing to the weekly newsletters. If someone has written an essay on any of the subjects that I talk about, I will include that essay or that video or whatever it is that they've created in my weekly newsletter. And then, just sharing it. Sharing is so unbelievably helpful. Okay. Well, you can follow her on Twitter at Ashley Olafsen, which I just did. And please follow me back. Absolutely. And I say that, and I'm going to do it on Instagram. And I know we're connected on Facebook. Yep. But I am very happy. Now there's 2. The top one there's Ashley Olafsen and Ashley Olafsen 4. Which one should I connect to? Just regular Ashley Olafsen. Okay. Follow. So I'm going to follow you.
I still do work sometimes with school systems. I still work with kids. I still have some connections in that area. Make sure you hook up with me, and I would be more than happy to put out some of your videos, share some of your stuff, get that out there. I think you're doing great and powerful work, and hopefully you can continue to do it. We've got about 90 seconds. What closing message would you like to leave my audience with?
I would just like to thank everyone so much for listening. It really, I can't even begin to express how appreciative I am for allowing me to be on the show and for listening. So honestly, just a very sincere thank you is absolutely perfect.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming. If new things show up, if there are new things, new endeavors you do, if you have places where you are, expanding or doing some new stuff, feel free to reach out to me and we'll have you on again. And you'll get another opportunity to go jump through these hoops, but you can also include the stuff that you're doing again.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
Hey, not a problem. So that, again, come to facebook.com/MyDrKevin. That's MYDRKEVIN. And you will see tonight's guest. You will be able to ask her questions. You'll be able to hook up with her and some of the other things. We had somebody that didn't ask a question, but they just said great, and they gave a big smiley, and I guess they wanted you to know that you're doing some great work.
That's very kind of them.
Okay. Have a good night.